Hello and welcome back to another episode of Boys Gone Wild. A very, very special episode indeed. It is the 150th episode of Boys Gone Wild. Yeah, look at that. That's a bit of showbiz and glam. If you're wondering,
that was horrendous.
Really, just very cold in the hands.
Yeah, I feel like it's got maybe tightened because of the coldness.
Do you want to talk us through this bottle of Prosecco?
Yeah, so this is from the offie. My fate when I used to work at a bar or a nightclub, my favourite thing would be when someone would order a bottle of Prosecco because they're usually very fun to open.
But this one wasn't.
This one wasn't fun to open. Maybe I got too cocky.
Exactly.
This is a Canti. The Canti Prosecco.
Canti Prosecco.
Denominazione di Orangi Consolata.
Is it Italian?
2020. I don't know. 2021. Pale story in colour with bouquet and taste of green apples and flowers.
Green apples and flowers.
Excellent as an aperitif or with lightly salted dishes.
Can I check if it's corked, please?
Yeah. Right.
Enough.
Is this acceptable for you, sir? Would you like to continue with your bottle?
Table.
For the table.
For the table.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It does taste appley.
What about, do you reckon it would go well with a salty dish?
Did it say that? Yeah, I think maybe it would.
You getting the flowers?
Not as much. A lot of green apple. This is the only special thing we're doing for the 150th. There's no other things planned. So it's a treat for us. But you know, this is not the 200th ep. This is the 150th ep. I guess
it's quite bleak because you'd think it would be because we've hit 150. I was thinking this in the shower actually.
Okay.
And I was like, oh well, we won't be 200 in ages, but that's a year, isn't it? Really?
It's a long time.
It's a year.
It was the 100th episode was pretty much a year ago. Yeah,
it must be a year ago because we missed a couple more than two. So it was always by Christmas time.
Do you have any reflections on the last 50 episodes?
I can't really. Things go instantly out of my head.
Yeah.
Because when people try and bring one, it's infuriating when someone messages you with a response to something you said on a podcast. Maybe filmed it 5 days ago.
Who in a group chat with other people will say his contrarian opinion about something we've said on the podcast.
Yeah.
As if we're still talking.
As if we're still talking about it. And particularly, that's for even us to still remember, but the other people in the group chat as well.
Yeah.
Haven't got a clue
no idea.
What it's even in reference to.
He'll be saying, oh no, I like Brie. What's he talking about?
I'll be like, I don't. Because I don't even remember.
We did 15 minutes about how
Brie.
We hate Brie.
Yeah. But I don't. I always forget. So I don't really have any reflections on it. I don't. It's kind of been more of the same. It naturally ebbs and flows, I find.
What does 150 mean as a number? Let's meditate on that. What does 150? 150 episodes? What is that?
Well, hours. It's around 150 hours, not including the Patreon.
Yeah. So 100
what is
episodes.
It's about
225.
But
it's more the 100th episode. That was a milestone. Cause I guess a lot of podcasts don't have the same power to get to 100. 150. Are we in rarefied air yet? Not quite. Not quite. What as a milestone? How does it set itself apart from the 100?
As what happens with many things in this world.
Yeah.
You kind of you can hit a thing early on. You can hit a milestone early on that feels like a milestone, and you celebrate it.
Yeah.
But once you've hit that milestone, everything else then becomes irrelevant until you hit really high stuff.
Remember when we said we were going to kill ourselves on air if we didn't reach 1,000 subscribers?
We did though.
What? Kill ourselves?
No, we did reach the amount of subscribers.
Yeah, and now we're on 4,000, and we haven't celebrated any of those milestones. I don't think it'll mean anything until 10,000.
Well, I think they need another ultimatum.
Yeah, I think they've gone easy. They've thought,
good. They're not going to kill themselves.
No. We need 10,000 subscribers by the end of play today.
Let's not.
That's before this episode comes out, by the way.
Yeah, so they've got no chance.
Well, they might.
Do we have to? And we'll kill ourselves live on air
on this episode.
If we don't reach it by the end of the episode,
we're recording this Wednesday. If by the end of Wednesday we don't hit 10,000, we'll do another episode where we kill ourselves.
Then that's the truth. Maybe we go for something less than 10,000. We did one for 1, so maybe we can do one for 5.
Yeah, 5. That's it.
5 and we'll kill ourselves.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
It's a good way to manipulate the public into liking you, or at least giving the appearance of liking you.
Constantly holding them hostage with the threat of your own debt. And then
for Offie Prosecco, I'm not.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Actually, yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Have you got the green apple fizz?
There's the apple.
It's not far off apple tea.
I like the apples. I'm not sure about the flowers.
It's not. it's not in the taste test. I wouldn't say it would be crazy different from appetizer.
No, you're absolutely right. It's
a lot of apple.
It is a lot of apple, yeah.
It's not notes of apple. It is.
It's an apple-flavoured drink. Apple-flavoured Prosecco drink. Yeah. But you're going back for more.
Isn't that nice to have a bit of class?
Yeah. Did we do Prosecco? What did we do for 100?
I think it was Prosecco, yeah.
Yeah, we got party poppers and
so
stuff.
Prosecco is a region, like Champagne's a region.
Sure.
So they're all, and then Cava's a region.
Right.
You know all this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently...
I know you don't believe me.
No,
but
I do believe you.
Yeah.
I do believe you. Don't worry. I believe you.
You're wearing a lot of knitwear.
I'm wearing... It's chilly. Because I feel we really spunked our it's chilly conversation.
It's a shame because now it's really chilly.
It's now biblical.
I think on our plan, the first bullet point every time has been it's chilly.
It's bloody
cold, isn't it?
And now it feels like Boy Who Cried Wolf. And
Yeah.
someone even called you out saying you're talking all about this chilliness, but you were wearing a thin shirt with the t-shirt underneath.
You'd be surprised how warm it is under the lights.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say. And I also replied that fashion doesn't feel the cold, and no one responded to that.
No one cares.
Yeah. You want to get the digs in, but...
So, Sussex is...
I thought you were going through cheers.
There you go. Sussex is now going to become like Champagne, like Cava, as a region. So
For what?
You're
Why?
Have a glass of... Because now south of England is where France was 400 years ago, climate-wise, is now the south
Are we
of
ready?
England.
We ready for wine season?
White wine.
Ugh.
Obviously, my dad's big into this. White wine, rosé, sparkling white wine.
Where did you get this information from?
Dad.
Yeah, there we go. Let's disregard it. don't believe any of that.
Don't believe a word out of that man's mouth. Red, I think they need a slightly more warmer climate than the others. But it feels like it's all shifting up, isn't it?
It's nice to get wine advice from a character out of Dennis the Menace.
It's what you want. Who am I, Dennis? Am I the bully?
No, you're a new character.
A new character?
Yeah, just Horatio.
Rodney the nonce.
Horrid Horatio. Horrid Henry. Horrid Harry. You look like you hide behind corners to throw snowballs at women.
Yeah.
You've never really grown up properly.
No.
And it's just it can be kind of cute if a child might throw a snowball across the road at you. But for you, it's like, that's enough.
Do you think with the moving climates, do you think part of that excites me is it feels like in many ways we're owed.
We're at the start of something new.
Yeah, well, we're owed.
It feels so good to be here with you.
We're owed a climate.
It's High School Musical.
Yeah, I got that. We're owed a nicer climate because if we become what France was 300 years ago, and
clearly we are, yeah.
And it's constantly shifting up, and
Yeah.
before you know it, Italy will become the desert, and everything's just moving up. We could eventually reach quite a nice sweet spot here.
There are many benefits to climate change that people don't often talk about.
Exactly.
And England are sitting pretty because of...
We're sitting nice at the minute.
We haven't had enough, warm summers.
No.
And I think that's more important to talk about.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just if we could generally just change our climate to something, do you think we'll ever reach the stage where the south of England's like the Mediterranean? I wonder. I don't know if climate.
I think
works like that.
I imagine it more. Things will probably start burning before that. I don't think it's ever
Well,
going to
Italy
be.
will. I'm not sure we will.
It's interesting.
I'd be interested because what will that change culturally? Because we've been dealt quite a rough.
But what about the sea?
climate-wise.
The sea levels. We're an island. That's a problem for us.
Yes.
But is
Big
our sea
cliffs.
not warm enough?
No, I don't understand the sea levels bit. I feel I don't know.
What? Not important.
Well, it's just like
Sea levels is really important. That's like going to be the most important thing that affects
It does
people.
seem a bit silly because it's like the ice melting at the top, and then that makes everything.
It is
go.
all a bit silly, isn't it? Really, it's all a bit silly. This climate change era.
Well, so it's just like the ice falls into the sea, and then it melts, and that's more water, and then everything just goes whoop everywhere, all around the world.
Right.
Like you'd have to have melt. That's everywhere.
There's a lot of ice caps.
But it's not sea levels just here. It's not local. All sea level has to be the same, right? Because it's all one thing.
Well, there is such thing as sea level, isn't it?
Yeah. Because you got inland.
So surely that means
inland
everyone
lakes
should
will
be in
their own
danger.
things.
Yeah, well, there's no such thing as lake can worry.
No, but the sea is consistent. It's one big.
Yeah,
one big
there's one
pond.
consistent sea level. It's
Yeah.
called sea level.
And if
Altitude's measured from sea level,
If you pour a cup of water in the ocean, it wouldn't change.
which you often do.
Which I often do. It wouldn't change the sea level.
If you measured it, if you had a measuring instrument that did it to the most detailed, minute point,
It'd have to.
it would have to.
It would have to, right?
Yeah, it would have to.
Do you reckon if
it's on a clear day, there's no rain anywhere in the world. But even counting, if it's like going up and down with the rain and the evaporation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it still rains in the ocean.
I'm getting this bucket from a local reservoir inland. So this wasn't from the sea.
You're confusing the point.
No, it wouldn't be because I think reservoirs, they get their water because the clouds pick the water up off the sea.
Yeah.
So it would be just be taking it back.
Yeah, but then everything's recycled. The rain comes from the sea and then will eventually go back to the sea. And it still rains over the oceans.
So the only way to rise the sea levels,
You are complicating this with talk of reservoirs.
I think the only way to truly raise the sea levels is to introduce water that hasn't been anywhere, isn't part of the sea's process.
Well, but you could. So it depends the time you're measuring. If you measured it, and if you in a period of 5 minutes, if you said this is the sea level right now, and then you added a cup of water, that would affect it short term, right? That was the question.
Yeah.
Long term, yeah, sure, you're right. But short term, if you're just measuring what it is, a cup of water should change it.
I wonder what the number is for how many glasses of water would have to tip into the ocean off the cliffs of Dover before Bangladesh gets flooded. before the Philippines, before Polynesia goes underwater.
It's not even fun to try and answer that.
Because there is a number, right?
There must be. Well, there has to be.
How many cups before...
But you're right, but in that context, the reservoirs are important.
Yeah.
Because where would we be getting the water? We'd have to do man-made water.
Yeah.
How many cups of man-made water would it take to pop into the sea to drown Bangladesh?
And it'd be like a trendy tumbler. It'd be like quite small, and it'd be like...
It would be... This is a sophisticated experiment, of course. I'd expect nothing less. Those are... Could you even begin to guess?
If we went to war with Polynesia, because
which is on the agenda.
Yeah, but we fought Argentina. That was a bit random. Who knows? Polynesia could be
next.
There could be a territorial dispute over small islands. I think
we're not ruling anything out.
I wonder, would that would probably be a war crime?
Pouring water into the ocean
constantly. Yeah, pelting cups of these water.
It's an incredibly long-term war tactic.
Yeah, I think it's probably a process of maybe 10,000 years, maybe.
What, of just consistent men going up to the cliffs of Dover and women
to keep going back to the reservoir.
But then if they're getting it from the reservoir, I just fear that we're not actually making a dent. And that might be the biggest criticism of that policy, is you're not really making a dent.
And it would be debated in the House of Commons.
It would, but maybe instead of doing that, you should just speed up climate change.
The Great Anglo-Polynesian War.
Which was mostly fought via cups of water into the ocean rather than traditional warfare methods.
It's called soft power.
Soft power? Well, that's not soft power. We're not winning any hearts and minds by chucking cups of water into the ocean.
But it's sort of like passive...
No, it's pure war. We're trying to drown them. It's not you're trying to drown Bangladesh / Polynesia.
No, Bangladesh is more of a warning shot at Bangladesh.
Right.
To wind their neck.
The problem is...
Because it's like this. Lads, just your fucking neck. I've got a bigger glass.
50 bull bugs standing at the top of the cliffs of Dover. We'll do it. But... the problem is, how do you know it would go to the right place?
That's it.
Yeah, because the sea is a cruel mistress. We all know that. Many men have tried to tame the sea, and many have failed.
That's what Many Men's about.
It is. Too many men have tried to tame the sea. It's more poetic than people actually give it credit for.
It's about respecting Mother Nature.
It's about not conquering the world we live in and trying living amongst it. Too many men.
What is too many men actually about?
Just too many men.
Is it about what?
We need some more girls. We need some more girls.
I thought. It's about going up to a house party that is being a sausage fest.
Yeah, it's in a club. There's too many swinging dicks about and not enough wet clunge.
We've had moments like that. When we were single on the prowl. Sometimes
in Zante and probably nowhere else. I don't think
early first year Warwick. I'd say
house parties or clubs.
Not house parties.
Clubs.
I'm sort of talking neon. I'm talking smack. I'm talking Casbah in Coventry.
Have you ever had sex with a girl? Have you ever had sex with a girl off from like... Because I say I've never had a one-night stand, but people disagree with me. I've never met a girl at a club, took her back, had sex with her,
took Shorty back from the club.
Took Shorty back from that club, bounced on that booty, and then never saw the hoe again. I've never done it, so I picked up
a couple of shorties from the club,
and then banged them.
Yeah,
ports them in the.
No, but then that is crude.
And then never saw them again?
Yes.
Right, you have then.
I reckon I picked up 2 shorties.
Right.
2 shorties in the club. I think
How
2.
do you? Yeah. Well, because whenever I get in there, I tend to just a lot of particularly
because
uni.
your slag era was mainly via Tinder, wasn't it?
Yeah, and parties, and it was parties and
bullshit and parties.
I'd often know them before I had sex with them.
Exactly, that's not the way I work.
No, because you're
that's a weakness.
It is a weakness. You're
so
immediately
strength is them not knowing anything about me.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never taken a girl back from a club and just got busy.
Do you think part of you would have liked to picked up some shorties from the club?
I think there is a part of me, yes. Yes, I think there is a part of me that would like to put shorties out of the club, taken back to the whip.
So, Andrew, do you think there's ever been part of you that's ever wanted to pick up shorties from the club?
You know what? Yeah, I suppose I'd be lying if I said there wasn't. Maybe I do look back and think, what if?
What was the thumbnail of that episode?
That one, it's just like a twerking gif.
Just a twerking gif. Yeah. So yeah,
and it's
maybe I wish I'd picked up more shorties from the club. Andrew
Kerwin muses on previous sexual history.
Oh, with the quote.
Maybe I should have picked up more shorties from the club. Well, I think whenever I went out clubbing, I danced. I was too busy dancing.
See, this boy.
You can't.
That left a lot of room for me to start shagging. Do you know what I mean?
That's true, because everyone that can dance dances, and everyone that can't dance.
It's because Andrew,
gangly goals.
Andrew was too busy focused on the movement. I was like, that's fucking right. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet.
You're not making. You don't sound very powerful in that situation. It's like, Andrew's busy. I can go and have sex now.
Yeah, it's a breakfast buffet. No, but I hope she's well.
Who? The girl?
That shorty.
Which one? Are you really?
That shorty like wow.
You're pondering that ass. I'm seeing some.
That shorty like wow. Well, it's hard to look back at. If you pick up a shorty from the club, have a one night stand, it is hard to not view it through the prism of R&B, because what I like about R&B is how much is a wide ranging genre, but it has such a focus on picking up shorties from the club.
Yeah.
And it's like
often you're going out listening to R&B, so in a sense it's foreboding.
Yeah, exactly. And in the club there's a lot of R&B, but the R&B obviously it's not actually about the lyrics as much. It's a lot more about the rhythm and the blues.
Wow. 2 white boys to set to R&B. That was the whitest comment about R&B I've heard. Yeah, it's not the most lyrically. There's some good lyrics.
I mean, R. Kelly is a genius lyrically.
Do you want to hear the worst R&B lyric I've ever heard?
What?
It's Raphael Sadiq, who's actually, I like his stuff. And I used to really like this one song from him. But
who's this?
Raphael Sadiq. You wouldn't know him. But he's got some good stuff, but I used to listen to this one song and I really like the beat. And I don't often listen to lyrics after they slowly get into my mind rather than me outright listening to them. And it starts, there's the very first bit and it goes, I'm coming home to you, wear something see-through.
Nice, that's good.
So I can see your heart. How fucking lame is that?
That's the old bait and switch.
It's so dead.
That's the old bait and switch. I like that.
I come over to you, wear something to see through. Great, why ruin it? So I can see your heart. Doesn't even make sense.
No,
doesn't even make sense.
It's poetic metaphor.
No, it's not. It's lame.
Wordsworth. Does the same.
So I can see your heart.
This is what Keats, Yeats. This is about poetic metaphor.
Keats, Yeats, Sadiq. That is so Ben.
No, because what I like about that is it's like
it's
where
sexy
something
and
see through, and it's like, God, this guy's such. And it's like, you know what? I'm done with all these fuck boys, so I can see your heart. Oh.
Do you know the problem with it?
What?
Is how he's phrased it, the prose. I'm coming home to you, wear something see-through, right? That is, he's addressing the lady in question. Yeah. He's out at the club.
This is him picking up shardies.
Imagine being the woman who is receiving that text. Because it's a text.
Yeah, it's a sexy text.
I'm coming home to you, wearing some...
Yeah.
Imagine you're that girl... maybe your situationship's out on the town having a good time, and it's like, I'm coming home to you, wear something see-through. She's about to put on her lingerie and then receives, so I can see your heart.
And that guy does open heart surgery.
Right.
And then he's like, oh, fuck.
I didn't mean that.
This is metaphor. Her lack of subtext is what killed her.
And that's why they never made it. She was fine. She had open heart surgery.
He comes in, there's surgeons with the green scrubs on. She's got, you know, when they had the thing where they're completely covered apart from that one open bit.
Yeah.
Open heart surgery.
Open heart, you've just described it perfectly.
Yeah.
But no,
that would be a good bit though. If
he ain't getting
he
laid.
Comes rolling back, he thinks he's going to get laid, and then you've hired loads of actors to have a fake open heart surgery.
So I'm the girl in this situation.
Yeah, no, it's that one, the royal you.
Okay.
Is there a royal you? Is there a royal we?
There's a royal we. Yeah, you plural.
But is that royal?
I don't know. It's not.
I don't know. It's not. Why is the royal we?
Because it's not. We is plural already.
So what makes it royal? What's the regality of we?
I think the royal we is like talking about everybody.
Yeah.
Rather than a select group of people. I don't know why that makes it royal.
Okay. I like that saying the royal we though.
Me too. I'm a big fan of it. It's not used enough.
But yeah, there's there's the club. Is Flow Rider, apple button jeans?
Yeah.
Is that R&B?
No, with the fur, the whole club is looking at her.
It's a lot about in the
She
club.
hit the floor.
She hit the floor.
Last thing you know, shawty got low.
Because that's about sex in the club.
Maggie sweatpants. Yeah, that's R&B.
Yeah, that is R&B.
That's R&B. Yeah.
So I do think
R&B, rap R&B.
the prevalent themes of R&B as a genre.
It's more like club hip hop, but
yeah, it's like sex in the club. That's what's funny about it as a art form. Sex in the club.
Yeah. I'm bringing sexy back. It's all sex.
It's all But the club. Do you feel?
Because the rhythm's too sexy to not put some sexy lyrics on top of it.
Do you feel like the DJ got us falling in love?
That doesn't. Is that sing that? Isn't that like pop? The DJ got us falling
in love again.
I don't think that's R&B.
Is that not R&B?
Can you sing it more?
I don't know.
The DJ got us
falling in love again. Well, what about Usher?
Usher's, yeah, but he kind of went club poppy.
Well, didn't he do that? What did he do? Usher, the DJ's got us falling in love again.
That's pop.
Love again.
That's pop to me.
But it's Usher.
That doesn't. Yeah, but Usher kind of meandered into mainstream pop. Yeah, that's club pop. R&B.
It's featuring Pitbull.
It might be newer R&B, but I think it's pop.
if it comes within the same.
But then it becomes pointless.
It talks about it's picking up shorties in a club. It's still within that realm. Yeah.
Still, kind of.
Yeah.
Not really. But yeah, no, a lot of it's sexy music because it's sexy beats. Like, how could you put anything other than some stank on that stank?
Do you feel it could be because we're getting older, but
But all these young kids' music sounds a bit too much at the moment.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
You don't look too old in that outfit.
No, not at all. Not at all. This guy. Do you feel that the kind of the club as a concept is no longer as much of an appealing thing?
We're moving on to the sanctity of the club.
We're talking about the sanctity of the club. I certainly think it peaked in the noughties. I'm just talking about even like in music. I just wonder if this new generation, maybe even COVID induced, I feel even from a younger age, the kind of holding up the club as a sacred space maybe isn't as much. So I think people are getting a bit sick of the club. Because the club, I think, in general is quite an overrated space, but you normally figure that out later in life.
I'm the opposite. I think it's an underrated space and people shouldn't be sick of it. It depends what clubs you go to.
Most clubs...
most clubs obviously suck.
Yeah.
But that's...
shitty tunes.
People don't go to them anymore at our age, and I am upset
And they
about
used
that.
to.
Yeah, they used to at uni, but then people basically...
No, I mean, people our age used to go, or is it just an aging thing?
I think it's an Asian thing as well, because a lot of people would prefer to go to the pub rather than go to the club.
But my point is it a cultural shift, or is it just us getting older?
I think it's...
Or is it impossible to discern at this stage?
I think it's probably a bit of both.
Yeah.
But culturally...
I do feel culturally the coolness of the club has gone down. I don't think the club is viewed as such hallowed turf anymore.
I just...
Popping bottles in the club.
It depends which clubs you're going to, though. Because if you're going to, like, Prism or... I don't know any other main ones. Then those are shit because they're awful.
I'm not talking about what you think about the club. I'm talking about cultural.
I know, but there's cultural. But that's the point because there's a big.
I feel that
the thing is at uni and music has gone to I don't know in the noughties. I guess they were kind of.
I think the noughties was when the club had the most stranglehold on pop culture.
Yeah, but because there was house music was around, and everyone started liking house music.
Yeah.
and then house music became bastardized.
R&B in there as well.
Yeah, with R&B, because but that's what I'm saying. There's different things.
Yeah.
But house music was kind of bastardized coming into the 2010s, and that's where you get, I don't know.
Well, that was about EDM.
EDM house, but they're all, and they just make it big room stuff, and that's why all like mainstream clubs went bad. And then in our time, so I think when we're hitting 18 to like 22, so uni-ish time is when you're thinking about what music's in, and like kind of techno started coming in. And
I realised that's quite a European
garage
thing.
came back a bit.
In America, I've seen TikToks about people. In America, they play a lot more hip hop.
Yeah, they do.
In Europe, it's mainly techno.
Well, no, but you have
electronic music. Basically.
But it's not mainly anyway. It's because of the clubs you go to. There's such a broad array. That's what I'm saying.
No, but culturally in general, if you're going to a generic club in Europe, standard.
I don't know if you go to so many in
the standard club music in America. I feel is going to.
I think standard in the UK, you'll have for big clubs, you'll have two rooms. One of them plays big room house music. The other plays hip hop. Think Smack and Neon. Both of them did the same thing.
Do you think are people body popping to house every weekend in America?
They're at no.
Okay, because to me, I feel at the when we went to Zante, how old were we?
18.
18. I feel that was the most I got into like knowing what chart music
well
was.
known. That's when everyone was like Horatio's into his chart.
I was a big name on the island. Benoy. I feel that's when I had maybe the most plugged into what was being played in the clubs, what were the songs people were listening to. And that I feel that was the summer of house every weekend.
Well, that was because we were going out clubbing to those kind of clubs quite a lot.
Yes.
Because that was when we were first legally allowed to go to them. So you have no idea which clubs to go to. You just go to the ones that you know of.
And also, it's probably the only time I've ever been to like a club 6 nights in a row.
Yeah, but you knew it beforehand. Before we went to Zante, because it was our year when we turned 18. We were allowed to go.
Trash Mondays.
We're talking Trash Mondays. That's all I can remember.
Is it still occasionally
Prism? It is the UK's longest midweek running club
in
night.
the southeast.
In the southeast. But no, because we'd go. You would know that going to Zante because we were 18. We were first allowed to go to clubs. So you'd go to the well-known ones, the popular ones, and you'd hear that music going around, and you'd just enjoy almost the novelty of going out clubbing. And then you kind of get to love all those songs because you associate it with a good time.
I don't put a value judgment on them, by the way. That wasn't me saying I loved them. I'm just saying it's just knowledge. I actually didn't particularly like the music.
I saw you get down to house every weekend.
I did.
Maybe even every weekend. Maybe even every weekend.
Fucking week.
Except that was the only house song you knew. But you played it every weekend.
It's every weekend.
But so you know it, and then. But I think that's what the kind of evolution of clubbing is that the vast majority of people go out at 18, experience it, it's really fun, it's new. And then as you get a bit older, particularly if you go to uni, you start to branch out a bit and like find different kinds of music. So a lot of people who are into music tend to go into either like house or D&B or techno.
Yeah.
Or like, and there's like garage and you can do psytrance and stuff in between those things. And then people start dropping off because it depends how much you actually love it and how much you're going out for just a good time.
What was nice in Leamington, and I think it's certainly being that age, you had a generation of people who basically grew up with the rave generation, who were our age when raving was at its height in the UK, which is like the 90s.
Who?
You had a lot of old D&B heads.
Yeah, a few, yeah.
And that was nice to see because there's people
But you get that at any gig, like any good gig.
Yeah.
I say good because it is. Any good gig you go to, you'll get like the rave couple, the 40, 50-year-olds, because they love the music. Yeah. Because that's the thing about... But that's what I'm saying about the mainstream kind of clubs thing, is there's no... I don't want to say authenticity, but there isn't much in the music. It's just turnover, whatever's popular. So you don't get the old couples going. Yeah. Whereas if you go to a jungle night in Brixton, like you're going to get jungle heads going, people who actually love a certain type of music.
Yeah.
So that's why clubbing's fun now. The clubs are still lit if you know which clubs to go to and if you're really into that kind of music.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's always about the music, but you did love the club.
I still do, and I piss off the people who don't go.
But you liked the club even when it was shitty.
Well,
you had a true love of the club.
Back in...
Like, I'm very... I'm like, if the music's good, I'm there for it. But it's so ready. If the music's bad at all, I'm completely out of it. I'm not.
Back
having a
in
good time.
where though?
Uni. You would even the shit.
I wouldn't. No, that's not true.
Mate, you were popping. Yeah. You were body popping.
It's not true.
You were body popping.
In what?
You were fucking.
In what? No, because that's just survival.
No,
what you're
mate,
witnessing there is survival. What are you? But I don't. That's not true.
You were doing underwater, you know.
Once I found Zephyr.
Mate, you did Smack Tuesdays. You did fucking Casbah Mondays.
Sometimes in first year.
No.
Yeah, that's the truth.
No, Leamington.
No,
Smack
you can't just say
Tuesdays.
Leamington. It was first year. I went to Smack Tuesdays, which is the shit one. Maybe
Once a week for a period.
Maybe
you went
maybe
a lot.
5 times in second year. That
This
was
is
it.
not me having a go. This is
Yeah, I know,
I
but
respect for it.
No, but I could. But it's not true. That's
5
the problem.
times in second year.
Yeah, first year I went a lot. First year smacking Casbah. Second year, at the end of first year, I found Zephyr in the assembly, and then basically just went there. I would always leave Smack early because it was horrible.
Yeah.
Second year was when I fell out in love with the shit club and realised I've actually got to go to the
Yeah,
Goon Club to enjoy
For
myself.
sure. We've reached the stage of the podcast, a very dramatic stage indeed, because we decide. I don't know really how to bring this up, but we decided as we reached the 150th that maybe it was a good time to maybe, you know, it's a time to reflect, it's a time for new beginnings, and I think a lot of you are going to probably be quite shocked by this news, and I feel it's probably best I just rip the Band-Aid off. But this will be the last time we employ you to buy Bookmarks.
Well, it'll be the last time we're officially employed to employ you.
After, I would argue, nearly 100 episodes advertising, nearly, you know, maybe between 80 and 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Imploring you to buy these ethically
Are these
sourced.
fresh bookmarks?
No.
These feel fresh anyway.
I think it's because of
yeah.
But we got them all out because we got all the boys out for their final day.
For their last hurrah.
We decided to go in different directions. There's still a lot of love for Bookmark
There's
Boys.
still a lot. And I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions, which we'll be happy to answer.
Over the coming days.
No bad blood. There's only a certain amount of content you can do on Bookmarks.
I think I realised that maybe I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks, and as much as I believe in this product, as much as I love this product, it started making me feel like maybe we'd approached selling bookmarks from as many angles as we possibly could.
I think one of the things we want to do with the podcast is, and have done, is pride ourselves in the fact that people don't generally skip over the ads. We make the ads fun.
Yeah.
And there's only so many ways that you can make Bookmarks fun, and I think we've done about 50 of them. Maybe more.
We did some bad ads.
We've done some dreadful ones.
You know, that's the majority of the ads were absolute dog shit. As she said, she said she really enjoyed the ads, but we never once correctly said the discount code. There's been a discount code the whole time.
The whole time we've never once.
No.
I couldn't tell you what it is now. We've always guessed.
Also, she has no data to know how successful these ads are because there's no one using the discount code. So there's been zero
analytics.
She has no way.
She hasn't got a clue. We haven't got a clue.
Can you comment below
if you've ever
throughout the whole time, ever after listening to a bookmark, ever bought a bookmark?
If you heard of Bookmark Boys through us and bought one, please comment.
Well, they definitely heard of Bookmark Boys.
No, and bought one. It's not just I've heard of it, because then everyone would fucking comment. But it would be interesting to know.
And I think at the live pod, which, thank you, we've sold out now. Thanks, guys, very much. We'll have a proper goodbye to Bookmark Boys as an entity. But for the actual podcast, this is the last time we'll do an ad for Bookmark Boys. Do you want to take away the beginning of this final ad? Every single one we've ever done has always been just saying words and seeing what comes. So you have to say, you can't think about it. You just got to go for old time's sake.
Hey, Ratio.
Yes. Hello. Where am I?
Why are you in Spain?
What are we doing in Spain?
Wait, we shouldn't be in Spain.
What?
We've got books to read at home.
Oh yes. Why did we come to Spain? What a silly idea.
Because
all my books are back home.
But we came to Spain because
we were in the Netherlands, where we live.
Oh right. Wink.
Don't block me.
I can't block. Yeah. So we came from.
God, these clogs hurt.
Why do we have to wear them even though no one does? We are Dutch and they all do. Why do we come to Spain? We came to Spain because we were in search of something to keep our page in the books for.
Also, we were trying to find out if the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plane.
Which it turns out it doesn't. It doesn't. The planes take up very little of the surface area of Spain.
Yeah, it's a terrible.
It's almost like it's more of a linguistic device rather than a truth.
But anyway, back to what you were saying.
Back to the bookmarks.
So we're Dutch. We've come over to
Spain in search of the best. Oh, actually, what? We've come over. We're Dutch and we've gone on a whistle-stop tour around the world to find the best thing.
Why are you talking about it like this?
To find the best. I don't know. Because that guy over there's listening.
I've been on this journey.
That guy over there just asked me.
Oh, hello, yes.
Hi. Hello.
Oh, you want to know? Yeah, carry
Carlos, come in. Yeah, just the one paella. So we've hi
Two
Carlos.
paellas.
So, you're not eating. You've just had another Spanish type of food.
It's true.
It's true. You have.
I did.
So Carlos, we've come up. We're doing a whistle stop tour because we have books to read in the Netherlands.
Yes.
But we don't have anything to mark our place in them, and we're fed up of turning the pages.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, well, boys.
Carlos.
Oh, you're clearly not Spanish.
Well, yes, I'm from a very strange place in the earth.
I don't want to know.
I'm feeling a bit of stranger danger right now, but go on, Carlos.
Oh, don't be afraid of friendly Carlos. Well, boys, have you not heard of a little company based in the UK called Bookmark Boys?
Never.
Bookmark Boys, did you say?
Bookmark Boys. Yes, I did say Bookmark Boys.
Oh, tell us more about Bookmark Boys, Carlos.
Well, Bookmark Boys is a great company that does your favorite celebrities and funny people and puts
Like
it
who? Like what celebrities? What on earth could they possibly be doing?
like Rob Beckett. Rob Beckett, but
I'm going Indian now.
like Rob Beckett, but it's not only that. They include a famous quote from the bookmark, from the person. Like, no matter how good you think you've done, you will always eat KFC next to a fucking bin.
Who's that?
That's Rob Beckett. There's also Alan Partridge.
All right. Well, on our way back to the Netherlands.
I'm not done.
Okay. Sorry, Carlos.
They're a UK-based company that offer bespoke bookmarks for anyone that requires them. I hear there's also a discount code, which I can't remember what it is.
What's the discount code?
I can't remember
Do you
what
have
it
a
is.
go at it?
Boys Gone Wild.
Thanks, Carlos. That sounds really interesting.
On our way back
to the Netherlands,
Hague, where we live.
We live in The Hague.
We live in the Hague.
What, the war trial?
No, it's a place.
The Hague?
Yeah.
Not the court?
No,
We're not being...
the court is named after the
I
place.
thought you were adding that our characters are currently on trial at The Hague for war crimes, which would have been great. Right, we live in...
No, we just live there.
Right, on our way back from The Hague, we'll go and visit the UK.
On the way, so that when we go back to see all our books. Because
Right.
you were upset. You're upset because we left all our books back in Netherlands.
No, I wasn't upset. Were you going on a... You missed what I said to Carlos.
Yes, you missed everything.
I said to Carlos that we're in the Netherlands. We live in the Netherlands and all our books are in the Netherlands, but we're pissed off that we have to keep turning the corner, so we're on a whistle-stop tour. So now we should probably go to England.
On the way back.
On the way back.
Even though I think they do international deliveries. But we'll go back there anyway.
We don't even know if they do international deliveries.
I'm sure they do. So, Bookmark Boys, for the last time, the shoes that breathe.
The Bookmark Boys who make all the noise because of their toys.
Brilliant. Well done, guys. Over the weekend, I guess we should talk briefly about England's exit from the World Cup, about thoughts, feelings, comments. We had a big Christmas lunch with our friends planned. That was planned on the day, at the exact time. But luckily it worked out as basically just be like a private viewing of it. It actually worked out incredibly well. But I was extraordinarily nervous.
I know.
Thought it was going to be a day ruined.
There's something about chewing on a pigs in blanket whilst watching the World Cup which doesn't sit well. But you can mostly put that down to the time of year it is.
Yeah, the only weird thing about it was great that we had basically a private room in a pub with a screen. I guess the only thing that was weird was having like a proper 3-course Christmas meal at an angle while watching the football was a strange way to do it.
Yeah.
And I did have the saddest crumble of my life because dessert came out.
What are you saying? That's so weird.
Well, dessert came out during 8 minutes of extra added time when we were desperately searching for an equaliser.
Yeah.
And the crumble had just arrived. It was a bit too hot. And then by the time it was clear that it was done, I was like eating the crumble. And it tasted... It's not good to eat pudding just as you've lost. I've realised there's something very bittersweet, like a tart apple in a crumble.
Very good. I didn't eat my chocolate mousse out of respect.
Out of respect?
Out of respect. I thought, you can't crash out of the World Cup to our arch rivals, the French.
Yeah.
As the Patreons, we're on a quest to actually invade France. But I saw the chocolate mousse and I thought, wait, that's a celebration food.
Yeah.
That's like cracking a bottle of champagne.
Well,
if I was to tuck into that mousse, it would be
but what's the
an
version
injustice
of
to the boys who did their best out there.
What's the if a chocolate mousse is like bottle of champagne, what's the pop in the cork?
It's a great question, Horatio. And in answer to that, it would be the kind of the as you kind of dip your spoon in and take your spoonful out, there's a slight release of air because
so you've
of
come
the
home to your wife,
being,
you've just got promotion from work.
the mousse being
and
quite
you're
a
like,
light
honey,
substance.
put your glad rags on. We're
I've got
rich.
some mousse. No. They didn't give us a yogurt pot.
Yeah.
It's not the opening of the lid.
What is it?
It's the releasing of the very slight air bubbles that exist within the mousse when you first dip your spoon in.
Honey, I've won the lottery.
Sorry.
Put your glad bags on. We're going
Get
shopping.
the mousse out the fridge. You know, there's a slight...
Yeah, there is a little bit. Yeah.
There's a slight release of gas.
Yeah.
And it was that gesture that deemed it inappropriate for me to even dive into that mousse at the time. So I didn't touch it. But the problem, it was good. And I think we were all very aware that, there's one, it's a tradition.
There's one rule for them and one for us.
Too bloody right, and we need to keep them out. It's been a tradition amongst our friend group for a long time where a lot of us go, I think it's been 5 years almost now that we do something Christmas. So it's almost the most important meal of the year in the friendship group.
Sure.
But I think we all kind of, because of the gravity of the World Cup, the gravitas of the World Cup, we all immediately realised that the meal was kind of coming second to the viewing of the football. Yeah. So I critiqued the starter. I wasn't too bothered about the potatoes.
You did critique
because it was very odd.
Yeah, it was strange.
It was very
the
odd.
Tomato relish
on a prawn.
Yeah. But it looked better.
It's not a prawn cocktail.
It tasted better than it looked because it did look like ketchup and it had a little more sunshine going.
The pairing was disastrous.
Yeah.
I was just not wanting to ruin the meal because I pride myself in being a very good dinner party guest. I'm always full of compliments.
Do you think you carried on that tradition?
Yes, because what was presented to me was quite frankly abhorrent.
Really?
It was dreadful.
And a lesser man would have...
said, this is shit. You
did say that?
Paul Delaney did.
Oh.
No, Paul refused to eat it.
Oh, okay.
Whereas I soldiered through and ate all of it and said, it's an odd pairing rather than...
Oh yeah, it's tasteful complaints.
I remember saying quite a few times you just do the Marie Rose sauce. There's nothing wrong with Marie Rose sauce. Don't try and make it special.
Do one thing and do it well. Is what I would have said.
Which is kind of off the mark, but
just lettuce.
There's now wrong with a prawn cocktail.
Yeah.
There's all the scientists and the wizards of the world have come together and created the Marie Rose sauce.
The starter did feel like the guy in the kitchen staff were getting a bit experimental.
Exactly.
It felt like Salvador Dali was in the kitchen.
Exactly.
It's like, lad, I want to see your paintings. I don't want to eat your food.
And when we think about what we were eating, which is a prawn cocktail followed by a prawn cocktail followed by a roast dinner, how much experimentation do you want? Or how much is this of years of graft? It's spitting on people's graves. I can't tell you which graves it is.
Yeah.
But you're certainly defaming someone.
Yeah. And then the main course, the meat was surprisingly good.
The meat was well cooked.
For turkey breast, it's hard to get turkey breast right. That shit dries out like a cunt.
You couldn't be more correct. I agree.
So everything else was en masse. It was all right.
How was your pudding?
I don't like crumble, but there was nothing better on the menu. I don't like.
Hey, you owe me money.
I do owe you money. How much? £5.
£5.
It was £5. I do owe you money.
It's too complex of
well, you can explain it.
It's actually really easy. You know.
Well, we've got into the habit of betting it recently.
This is our third bet.
What was the first one?
Maybe it was the second.
Yeah, it's our second bet. And I got a bit. He said, "I know what," because we all had to.
It was a pre-order.
We had to pre-order our 3 meals. And
Yeah.
Andrew was convinced that he knew what I'd ordered, and I thought I didn't know you knew how much I like crab.
It was a very public conversation as well. People really got involved in it.
You said, "I bet that you've got 2 of the same as me."
I said, I bet we've got 2 of the same, and I bet they're the starter and the main, and we've got different puddings.
And
you went, no.
And then he said, "Do you want to bet it?" I'm like, "I'm not betting it." And then I thought,
And then there was some pressure. There was some pressure.
Like, he's not going to have thought about my crab. He's going to think I got the duck. He thinks because I'm such a meathead that I've gone for double meat. He doesn't know.
But I know your meathead is slightly successive when you go outside. It's like a restaurant.
He doesn't know how elegant and sophisticated I am.
Without crab tomato relish.
And I was like, he's gonna be shocked. But no, he was correct. So I do owe you money again. That's 2 bets in a row.
2 bets lost. It's not good for you.
And England lost.
Lost.
How did this exit feel for you?
I'm still yet to feel the World Cup, if I'm being honest.
Really? Yeah, you just don't.
I'm not.
You just don't.
No. It's not. No, I'm comparing this to other World Cup experiences.
The Euros.
The Euros felt. I'm comparing it to because I always get into it, and it's not because I in the past you could fairly charge me with not getting behind the lines as much. That's fair, and I've kind of turned a corner with that a bit. But I'd always feel the World Cup, like the drama and the importance of it. Yeah. I think there's something about it being in the winter that it's just not like when we were watching it last night.
Yeah,
I was just like, this doesn't feel like a World Cup semi-final.
No, it's true. Well, it's part. Yeah,
I'm back in the days. I can starkly remember like Italy versus France World Cup final when Zidane
those
headbutted.
are big. That was the final.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
But still, no. But even in that one, I remember the semi-finals and it being the grandeur around it. And now there's something weird about it. When England play, I feel it.
Yeah,
but I just don't. And that the Netherlands Argentina was amazing. Incredible. But that's just because it was a great game of football. Because it's almost like the World Cup should elevate average games of football because it's the World Cup.
I feel it has.
I'm sure it has for many, but there's something about it that I'm not quite.
The few.
And I'm the few. I'm the silent majority who's now speaking about it. But I don't. Is it maybe because it's
more canty?
Yeah, chuck it in. Maybe because it's winter.
Yeah.
But then I don't really. But then that's the thing, because I'd be the last person to understand the seasons.
Yeah, it's true. Interesting. Yeah, this World Cup exit. I mean, it triggers a array of quite unique and bleak memories, which is England leaving major tournaments. Because I remembered all of them. I remember when we went out in 2010. I remember when we went out in 2006, where I think I was doing some sort of like scouts type thing.
You were in the scouts at any point in your life. You can't tie a knot.
Not scouts, because it was a family thing. I'm actually all right at tying knots. I'm okay.
Prove it. That's very good. Yeah, I know he gets it.
I remember 2006. I don't remember 2004. 2010. I remember 24. I remember all of the moments when we went out, and I feel this one wasn't as bleak as.
I think it's because we were out and having fun.
Yeah, I guess this one out of all of them was the feeling of we deserved a bit more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like 2020, like the final, we had it in our grasp, so it was heartbreaking. We were there for it.
Yeah.
2018, we kind of overachieved, but we also had a shot again in the final. We were in extra time against Croatia, where we feel we should have won. And it was the first time we'd done well, so it was basically the end of this hype. This time, because we were playing such a big team, we're favourites going in. But then the manner we went out was pretty unique, because we played so well.
It wasn't really unique, because it's kind of the English manner.
We hold on and just about scrape,
but we never
and then lose.
We never
but
go
now
out.
We played pretty well.
We never go out after being outbeaten by a good team who beat us like 2-0 when it's just like there wasn't really any coming back from it. We very rarely get outplayed to lose.
2010
or 2010. I'm talking more recently.
2014, we didn't win a game.
Wasn't 2010 when that
2016 we lost?
Wasn't 2010 when that Lampard shot went in though?
Yeah, so we could have been 2-2 at half time.
And that's big.
Yeah, it was big.
There's always something.
Yeah.
There's always something like that.
Yeah. I mean, the worst feeling was when we lost to Iceland in the Euros 2016. That was
but that was just because we were sitting with like 600 people.
It was unbelievably humiliating as well.
But when you're with 600 people in like an open piazza,
and that was
on a
when
big screen,
it was an awful vibe. And then this time I did feel proud of the boys. It is just a shame. But probably on all accounts, fair enough.
Yeah. But we'll come again.
Yeah.
It's a very young age there's a very young pool, a very young squad. They're going to be coming back to the next one. I mean, look at the young performers: Foden, Bellingham, other people.
Yeah, it's just it's just that fit. We got this generation. We have like 4 shots at winning a trophy.
The thing that because I remember
we fucked it. We done 3 and we got close.
I remember when I was in my more naysaying days back in it might have been the World Cup. Did we lose to Croatia?
Croatia 2018.
Yeah, and I saw a list on somewhere that was something to do, and it was saying like all the teams that England has beaten in the last 2 or 3 World Cups, and there's like no good teams on there. Because that was what I was saying back in the day. I was like, yeah, we should be beating these teams.
Yeah.
But then then it's a choking. This one was different because it was France.
But the difference with this
we
team,
could have won.
But we could have won.
But this
also,
team is different.
We went to a big team and we arguably outplayed them for large periods of the game. And the Harry Kane penalty miss.
Yeah, it's tough.
It comes down to a penalty, but I feel for him as well.
As everyone feels for him. You should.
Yeah.
Anyone that goes online like shouting abuse at these people are absolute maniacs.
Yeah, but he probably in the world he's like the number 1 person you'd pick to be taking that penalty.
Yeah, and he missed.
I can't.
Yeah.
It's just like it was just
2 in a game. 2 in a game. There's something about 2 in a game.
Yeah. Still, he just
blasted it as well.
I couldn't believe it.
But if we're gonna go out, I'd prefer it to be like that.
What, cunting it over the bar?
The English way out.
Yeah, just fucking.
It's just don't even hit the target.
You just cunt.
No thanks. Didn't want it anyway.
Didn't want it anyway.
Get back home. You wouldn't. It'll be more annoying.
He was homesick.
For me, it'd be more annoying if it was saved.
Yeah.
Because then it would be more heartbreak. Whereas that was like it was in our own hands, and we
And he just fucked it.
We decided not to go through.
Oh,
we
it's
had
Brexit.
power. It's an honourable leave.
It's Brexit.
Much like Brexit.
It's like we're just gonna leave. Why? It's gonna fuck you up. Who gives it? Go fuck
There's
yourself.
essentially an open goal in front of us,
We're just like,
and we go,
just
no
fuck.
thanks. We'll take that route.
Yeah. But anyway, you were quite excited about the Harry and Meghan documentary, and I'm still yet to see fully why you're not normally excited about these sort of things, but you seemed pretty
I was excited to watch it.
gassed about
Drama, man.
Yeah.
Drama. It's
But
also...
you're more into this. I'm normally into this more gossipy stuff, but you seem quite invested.
I'm turning a bit of a corner in gossip,
Yeah,
and I'm not
I think,
loving it.
I think the moment when I realised that was when I had to look something up on your phone, and it said Golden Globes winners, and that was the first thing. So
No, I
know
typed
that's-
in Golden Globes because I wondered if they'd happened.
Still, that's
It's not still.
You're a giggly little queen.
I always
now.
look at
You're brunching with
looking
the
up
girls.
who won the Golden Globes isn't indulging in gossip.
I don't know. It seems like it's part of the shift. you know.
How? I've looked up for many years.
She wore that dress, did she?
No, that's Golden Globes red carpet pictures, which is not what I looked up.
Well,
Golden Globes winners is very different. You know that's different. Although I have got a little bit more interested in what people are wearing on the red carpet now.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
You're turning into a fastidious queen.
The Harry and Meghan thing it's history unfolding. This is it's like the Peasants' Revolt.
Who are the
What's
peasants?
happening now? The Peasants' Revolt of 1508.
But who were the peasants in this?
Us. We're always the peasants.
No, Harry and Meghan.
It's not exactly the
Oh,
Peasants'
but you
Revolt.
mean it's historical.
It's historical,
Yeah.
and because we have politics nowadays, and that's kind of the main arena.
Yeah.
But like for centuries, it's all been on the royals and anything the king does, and like this would be huge news anywhere else. It's like the prince defecting to France.
yes.
In
yeah.
some ways, or disassociating himself from the royal family. Even though, because the royal family, you can look at it like politically and have a moral stance in it, or you can look at it historically and the importance of it. And the Queen's dead, I'm sorry to say. I didn't mean to come out and just say it, but it's the truth. The Queen's dead. That's already a massive blow for the popularity of the royal family itself, because now, who cares?
Yeah.
Loads of all the older generation who love the royal family are like all love the Queen or loved the Queen. Charles isn't really someone that they're going to hang on to
Fat
too
fingers,
much.
big ears.
Fat fingers, big ears. You can't run a country like that.
Yeah.
It's intolerable. So now there's no one really there's no one that's holding the family together as much, and it's like this is a massive expose on it in a time when it's so turbulent that it's just really interesting to see what they say about it, how they say it, how it's framed. It's also hilarious to see massive historical events
Play
put
out
forward
over
on a Netflix, exactly how Netflix does documentaries.
Yeah.
And it's just funny seeing those huge seismic things that could potentially mean the end of the royal family with that music and everything. It's great.
I want to talk more about this. I think we've come to the end of this episode, so we'll carry on this conversation on the Patreon.
Wow, was that a teaser?
That was a teaser. So we'll see you guys next week. If you want to hear the end of this conversation, the Patreon episode will come out Monday. Thank you very much for subscribing. We'll see you guys next week.
Keep it on the down low.